The green flag is in the air. Off we go from Texas.
Huge launch by the 9. He's going to clear him easy down into turn 1. See that bright 19 car, Brendan Jones, going straight to the bottom of the racetrack as soon as he's able to find that gap.
And he slid down in front of his teammate Ryan Truex in the 18. Could they have planned that there, or that's just a little luck and good fortune at the start of the race?
Yeah, I'd say that that's just a little luck and good fortune. And you know, I look at that 48 car right off the bat, and after practice yesterday, him talking about his car being so loose, and you see him take off. Looks to me like he's kind of tiptoeing around.
In the first lap, you might want to just see where things are at.
Yeah.
And we talked about that res, and there you see the 48 of Tyler Reddick right up there right off the bat. And we knew that could possibly happen. And there he goes right off the bat, like Coleman said.
Saw Sam Mayer getting aggressive in the inside lane. Picks up a position on Ryan Truex. As Gregson starts to put some distance between himself and second place Austin Hill. Mentioned Riley Herbst. He's in the 98. The 88 William Byron making his first start today in the Xfinity Series since he claimed the trophy at the end of 2017 at the Homestead Miami Speedway.
Oh man, that's kind of a double-edged sword. In with the championship and the trophy, and now we're back in the car. So Williams been racing a lot this year.
Absolutely, I want to race for sure. Here we see the 48 Tyler Reddick. He started right there on the front row. He's moving backwards in a little tight squeeze here for Riley Herbst right down the gut in between two of the best in the sport.
Yeah, I'd say that 48 car is still pretty loose.
Yeah,
from the looks of it.
See Tyler's trying to get to the bottom here.
39 is Ryan Sieg, just outside the top 10. You know, those guys from Colleague moving nicely early. Daniel Hemrick qualified outside the top 10. He's 7th. And A.J. Allmendinger, who was 13th, up to 8th in the early going. As you check out the numbers on Ryan Sieg.
And I'd say this is going to be a little bit of a guessing game here at the beginning of this race, because in practice here, you go through the cycles on the tires and the car just gets tighter and tighter, and it's really hard to practice unless you just go out there and make one run. And today I look down, and Joe, you know this, you got those condos over in turn 2. When the wind is blowing here, it makes turn 2 really tricky, and the flags are straight down today. There doesn't seem to be a lot of wind today, and we've got some cloud cover, so the cars are going to be a little bit different than what they practiced yesterday.
And we talked about that limited practice. All these cars practicing on the bottom of the racetrack. When does that resin come in? They move up the racetrack. I got to assume that resin's going to come in and be the dominant lane in this race at some point. As their tires start to wear out, they're going to start searching. You know, we saw that Reddick has a loose car right now. He's probably not going to be the one that wants to search with the loose car. It's a lot harder to do it when your car's loose.
And this is kind of a short race, really. Typically, when the Xfinity Series goes to 1.5 miles, it's 300 miles, 200 laps. This weekend, only 250 miles. That changes things. The stage is very short, 40 laps apiece, stage 1 and stage 2.
Yeah, 40 laps is about 20 laps less than what they would run on a tank of gas. Here we see Ty Gibbs making his way 3 wide up through traffic there into turn 3.
Right now, he scored 24th.
And it's fun to watch a fast car go through the field with a good driver, Ty Gibbs in it. Yeah, he's just going to find any lane he can, and that car's just going to keep moving forward. Like as he's able to just wrap that line, turn underneath Jeremy Clements, keep the momentum. That's when you just feel like a hero when you're in position to just pass cars like that.
Yeah, and turn 1 is such a tricky corner here since they've redone the racetrack. You know, you have to let off the throttle. Hearing how long he was out of the throttle right there, but it's so important to keep that left front tire right on that white line through the middle of 1 and 2 so that you can be in the throttle and roll the center of the corner and the exit in the throttle. So you see how low he is compared to how you would arc it out at many racetracks, and turn 1 is just not that way.
Saw him racing there with Brett Moffitt, who's fallen back after starting inside the top 15. 9 laps in, what are your early observations, Coleman?
Hey, yeah, just Last lap here, we just seen Justin Allgaier move up in the resident 1 and 2, make a pass on the one of Sam Mayer. Looking back a little further in the field, his teammate William Byron just passed Riley Herbst. If I'm a spotter, I'm recognizing that this resin's coming in turns 1 and 2. I'm going to start letting my guys know it's an option.
That's right. You got to get after it. You want to be one of the first on it. If you can be one of the first, you're going to make some time. Eventually, everyone's going to be up there, and you won't be able to take advantage of that anymore.
We're at the 1/4 point of stage 1 at Texas. Noah Gragson has led every lap. He's out in front of Austin Hill, Brandon Jones, Justin Allgaier, and Sam Mayer completes the top 5. Tomorrow on FS1, the NASCAR All-Star Race takes center stage as the best drivers on the planet battle for $1 million. Open coverage on FS1 at 5:30. The big show happens at 8. It's on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Kevin and Joey both have won at Texas. Both have won the All-Star Race. And while we were away, Justin Allgaier starting to make some hay from 6th to 2nd right now.
Yeah, I've been watching the 7 of Justin Allgaier. He's running up into the resident 1 and 2, and that's where he's making all his time. And he's catching the leader at a pretty good clip right now. I assume there's going to be a race for the lead here pretty soon. If I am Noah Gragson, you see him move up a little bit to pass the lap car, but he's been pretty glued to the bottom down there and losing a lot of time. He's got to move up soon to try to maintain the lead.
What do you have for us, Josh?
Well, I'm down here with the NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith, co-owner of Jesse Iwuji Motorsports. What's it like to be able to watch your driver compete here in Dallas or in the Dallas area where you played for so long?
Well, first and foremost, it's an honor to be able to do what we're doing right here at Texas Motor Speedway. But to watch Jesse, who's right here from Carrollton, Texas, in his backyard competing, it's wonderful all the way around because his mom is here, his friends are here, everybody's here watching. It also adds a little bit more pressure to go out and try to perform. But with that said, it is NASCAR. Everybody has talent, everybody has skills. we got to show our skills today and try to go out and hopefully have a faster car and drive appropriately so we can compete at the highest level. So we're working at it.
A man who knows a thing or two about showing skills, Emmitt Smith, AA.
Yeah, I mean, a Super Bowl MVP, and Josh mentioned Pro Football Hall of Famer. And here's the story of Jesse Iwuji. He was a football guy too, right? In fact, also ran track at Navy, 7 years active duty after he graduated. In fact, he didn't practice or qualify the car yesterday. Kyle Weatherman did, because Jesse was handling some duties for the Naval Academy. So it's a good story. Great to have Emmitt Smith here. And he's got a good number 22, Emmitt Smith.
That's right. But back to Jesse Iwuji, he is just doing everything. Anywhere you turn, you see him. He's in the Navy. He's doing TV. He's driving race cars. Like, that guy is everywhere.
Hey, halfway through stage 1, here comes the 7. The 9 didn't want to see this.
No, the 7 has been tracking him down pretty good here the last few laps, but the 9 has moved up, and I think it's interesting to see how Justin has kind of had to change his lineup a little bit. A little lap traffic right in the groove.
Lost a lot of momentum. Here comes the 7.
That was Patrick Emmerling in the 35. Gregson, as you saw on the graphic, had led every lap so far. He's out front no more. Can he cross him over? No. 7 all clear off the corner.
Man, and that's so frustrating as the leader. Oh, and then the caution comes out right after that.
Ryan Vargas had a big spin yesterday in practice.
If you can.
He was able to keep it off the wall when he spun out. Started at the back today.
I don't know. Vibrations, oil pressure light.
That smoke out the tailpipe. That's a bad deal.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the result of that spin, right? You get the engine revved up or going backwards, and then the next thing is it explodes.
Yeah.
The save looks really good. It feels really good until this happens a handful of laps later, right?
That's a lot of smoke. No more mosquitoes here in Texas. We just got all those.
On board, Noah Gregson.
Oh, wow, you can't see anything, huh? And that, I'd even send that to Coleman, because you can't see as a driver in those situations. You rely 100% on your spotter to drive you through. You think from the outside you can see more than that. Here's a pass for the lead. The 35 car checks up the 9 big. Here comes the 7 of Justin Allgaier. You can't even defend that. Once you lose that momentum, if you're Noah Gregson, game over.
And that's just kind of the way 1 and 2 is. You get one thing that breaks your momentum. That tends to be the place that most of the passes happen, because the car, even when you're running up a groove, still has to rotate through the center of that corner. And when you have a lap car come up, then and you're out of the gas, really breaks that momentum.
Let's listen in on 9 radio.
Still 35, thanks. Yeah, I'm taking care of it. When we know the leaders are coming, we have to be extra conservative there, as we almost took out the leader.
That's the radio of Patrick Emmerling, who just went a lap down. Now the caution gets him the free pass. That's tough, though, when you know you're off the pace and you see him coming.
And how much faster the leaders are. It's hard not to get in the way, right? I mean, you think about the speed difference that the 9 was catching him at. I don't know how to get out of the way quick enough.
25 laps complete, 16 to go in our opening stage. Allgaier, Gregson, Jones, Hill, and Mayer, the top 5. You look at Texas Motor Speedway, tough track, and drivers that win here typically go on to big success. These are drivers that won and went on to the championship that year. Kevin, you did it
a little younger.
06.
Yeah, a little bit younger there.
Yeah. Kyle Stenhouse, 09 and 12. When Chase Elliott won here in 14, first career victory. And then that year,
wins the championship.
He goes on and wins the title, driving for Dale Jr.
Just like that.
And we got 3 champions in the field today. Talked about Tyler Reddick, 2-time champ with 2 different teams. Of course, William Byron we mentioned, and Daniel Hemrick did it last year, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing.
It's kind of funny, though. They might have some champions in here, but no one in the race today has ever won at Texas.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
So in short, what you're saying to make this all make sense for Adam is there's going to be a first-time winner today?
Yeah, there'll be a first-time Texas winner today.
Let's confirm all of that so I understand in the next
break.
Right? Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think that's right.
Harvick's trying to mess with me, and he's messing with you.
Well, see how he does this? He's done it for years.
I heard this yesterday with Michael Waltrip and you up here in the trivia stuff. So I figured I'd just
build off of that.
Poke a little fun at that.
He's a pot stirrer, Harvick. You know it?
Oh, yeah. We've all seen it.
It wasn't even really intentional. It's more accident.
Now, hey, off the top, we said Junior Motorsports is really good. They've been on a roll, 3 wins in a row. All 5 of their cars in the top 9 today, including the leader, Justin Allgaier. No one pitted. We're green when we come back. NASCAR's All-Star race tomorrow. This is just an all-star sports town, sports region. The Mavericks, Western Conference Finals of the NBA. You got the Cowboys, you got the Rangers. Across the board, professional, college, football, basketball, soccer. I mean, they got it all. And then, of course, there's Texas Motor Speedway playing host to NASCAR this weekend. Big Hoss. I mean, if you want to watch something on the big screen, you do it here. And today it's the NASCAR Xfinity Series SRS Distribution 250. The choose is underway. This will be interesting, Coleman, as we have our first restart on old tires.
Yeah, old tires. Now we see the preferred lanes up a lane. The 7 chose the top. That's not very surprising. I think the biggest surprise you see right here, the number 19 of Brandon Jones, chose third, still chose the inside lane. Something inside of his car must say he must like the bottom better. Really surprising move. I expected it to go double top and Sam Mayer to take the bottom. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out the rest of the race, how much you're willing to give up to get the preferred line.
Restarts are big here. The other thing that can be big is strategy. And when we went to break, I said no one pitted, no one in the top 20, but we did have some takers, maybe some teams trying to flip the stage here.
Yeah, you got a short run here to the end of the stage, about 10 laps. And you would think if you pit right here, you can flip the stage, meaning that when everyone pits at the end of the stage, you can stay out with 10 laps on your tires and cycle to the lead of the race. A surprise not more cars took that opportunity. Must mean that tires are wearing out maybe more than we thought they would.
What are we going to see on this restart?
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Brandon Jones in that bottom lane here to see if that PJ1 resin fires off as well as we think it's going to.
Restart, 10 to go on the stage.
Big side jab from the 9 down into turn 1, trying to get position. It's going to be close. They got it, Kevin.
Yeah. All clear. Noah Gragson back on point.
That tells me that, you know, that PJ1 is still just a little bit kind of iffy as far as getting through the center of the corner, but it tells me that Noah Gregson's obviously probably in the throttle too, wide open on the bottom of the corner still.
Yeah, absolutely. With that clean air, maybe that bottom and the clean air is pretty good. It seems like if there's dirty air, it might be a little tougher to be on the bottom. You see it 11, big damage on the right rear corner of that car.
Keep it up there. We'll come next
That's going to hurt him big. He's
time.
on the cut line here in the point situation, too, for the playoffs.
Yeah, defending champ came in plus 22. Here it is right in front of Josh Berry.
Yeah, it just got loose and started having to chase it up the racetrack, and that's probably going to be a tough rest of the day. See the deck lid unsealed.
And we're under caution again, courtesy of C.J. McLaughlin in the 38.
Ooh.
Oh, close call for Joe Graff Jr.
Yeah, looks like he's got loose. I don't know if he had any help or he just got loose. That's a heck of a slide, though.
It's
Get some
fitting.
cool style points all the way up to the fence, man. I almost saved it.
It's fitting he went sliding right in front of the No Limits Texas sign, and he did, in fact, find the limit, I think.
Well, that's a much better case than this 11 car because, as you see right there, the right rear damage and the spoiler and the deck lid, which means that tail is moved to the left. Not good.
Such a sensitive area of the race car is that right rear quarter panel, especially on these Xfinity cars. You want that thing out in the air, not pushed away.
With Hendrick on pit road, we got to show what's been happening with Colleague Racing this year. I mean, A.J. Allmendinger, the model of consistency. Jamie talked about earlier, top 10 every race. Those other 2 cars, Castle and Hemrick, they've been all over the board all year.
Yeah, and not as much ups as you'd want with a lot of, big issues, and I think for Daniel Hemrick today, you're probably going to have another one of those downturns. And that looks like the stock market right there, doesn't it?
Well, I tell you what I see right there. Let's listen to some 11 audio.
All of a sudden, man, sorry. Alex, they're not flat. The 8 wrecked. I don't know if he wrecked you, but he was up airing you. I think it was that, Chris. I just think he lost it.
Yeah, I think he just lost it too, and that's just, you're in traffic and a lot of things happening. The car just gets sensitive and took off on him is what it looked like.
7 to go in the stage. Pit road, a busy place this time around. Jamie?
And Ty Gibbs, he started in the back, working his way up. They figured, let's just pit here and we'll take our tires. Josh Berry in as well as they checked that car to see if there was any damage done to it. He got his fuel and 4 tires.
So we basically now have 3 different strategies going on. The guys that pitted last time around with about 15 to go in the stage, those that come here, and then those that have stayed out and not pitted yet at all, and you saw the front runners there coming down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a no-brainer call right now. If you're not in the, the top 10, or even if you're in the back part of the top 10, go ahead. If you're going to lose 2 or 3 stage points, to cycle yourself up to the lead of the race when the next stage starts with 5 laps on your tires, that is the way to go.
So we've got our second caution in stage one, not yet complete. It's going to be a fun little run to the finish when we come back on a hot afternoon. And tomorrow, a big-time USFL doubleheader kicks off at noon Eastern on FS1 with the Pittsburgh Maulers and the New Orleans Breakers. Then at 4 Eastern, the Houston Gamblers take on New Jersey. It's on Fox, and it's all streaming on the Fox Sports app.
All right, Adam, explain the pit strategy here. You got it all. You got it all on the card over there? Or?
I don't have it on a card.
I don't either.
But what I would,
it's mixed up.
It's upside down.
It's upside down.
Well, here's the bottom line. The guys that are leading right now are going to have to pit at the end of the stage, and they're going to cycle back to somewhere around 15th.
I was
or further
outside
back.
the top 10, right?
Maybe even back into the 20th. One to go here. Getting to choose. It's going to be a quick 4 laps to the end of the stage. So you're going to race wicked hard here, and then you're going to have to start in the back and work your way back up for the second stage.
Who do you want to be here? One of the guys out front that's got a chance to go win the stage, but then you're going to pit, lose the track position. One of the guys that just pitted that's going to cycle to the front. I mean, where do you want to fit in this situation?
Well, you always want to be the guy racing for the championship, but in this particular instance, you want to be the guy who has no agenda and able to race for a win today. Jamie, you got something on the 9?
Yeah, Noah Gregson leading this race right now, chose the bottom. They told him early on in this race, you are wrapping the bottom better than anybody else. He's really confident down there, as right now he looks to win stage number 6 of the year.
And this would be 7 straight stage victories for Junior Motorsports. Not just winning the last 3 races, but winning the stages in those races as well. Wow. What do you think about the continued talk on the bottom and how he's handling that?
Yeah, I mean,
as long as you clear him, it's fine.
It's as long as you clear him. If they're side-by-side off of turn 2, outside, he's in trouble. Yeah, that's when the 7 of Justin Allgaier is gonna take him there. So I think someone's gonna depend on the launch that he gets here, being able to hook those rear tires up. They're old, 36 laps on these things, and qualifying, and be able to get the launch, get a good push. That's gonna be the big difference maker for him.
On board with Gibbs, he pitted. He restarts 20th. 4 laps to go, stage number 1. It's all Junior Motorsports on the front row.
7 hung with him really good there. No pushes from either side. It's going to be tougher for him to do it this time. Still got him.
Still out there, you're all clear, you're all clear.
Yeah, you just see Justin have a little bit of trouble in the center of the corner, just trying to make the car turn in that middle groove.
Ryan Truex off the pace in the 18. By the way, the top 12 on that restart yet to make a pit stop today.
This is one of those things you got to grab your points. If you're going to stay out and cycle yourself to their back, you better get all the points you can right now because you're about to pay the price.
Sam Mayer drifting on the restart a bit. Brandon Jones pushing the 7 of Allgaier, and A.J. Allmendinger is there. No practice yesterday, qualifies outside the top 10, but he's a player in the 16.
Are you surprised?
Not at all.
It's every week. Oh, 38 car again.
And that'll end the stage for sure, right? 2 laps to go. This time around, it's C.J. McLaughlin who brings out our 3rd caution of the afternoon. Oh my, Ty Gibbs sideways.
He just put tires on that car, so this is going to burn a set of tires here.
Now that might work out here with 4 sets of tires in the pits. You were a little ahead of the game on tires at this place, so it might not be too detrimental for them when it comes to tires. Obviously, it's going to be a big loss of track position for Ty Gibbs.
Let's see what happened to the 38 here. You see him up high again in 1 and 2. Another big slide. It almost looks like a. You sure that's not the replay from the first wreck? Jeez, it looks exactly the same.
And now this is what happened to Ty Gibbs. Hello, my name is Jeb Burton.
Yeah,
27 got it.
You know, a lot of times that comes down to when they call the caution. Sometimes the spotter doesn't hear it. Sometimes you don't see the light, and it looks like everybody was kind of checking up in the 27.
You see his hand come out the window there.
Easy, coming inside, coming inside. Got right here.
And that's when you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
You know, you're slowing down, the caution's out. You think everything's okay, and you get run over. Here's the 27 radio.
Stop, man. You all good? How hard you punch it there? I hit him right on the corner. I don't know if it did anything or not.
Jeb Burton, son of Ward Burton, who won the Daytona 500 20 years ago. You need to follow him on social media. You ever see him? He's always catching snakes out in the wildlife.
I don't like snakes.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
Ward's a
I'm
wild
out.
man. This caution going to end stage 1. Noah Gragson out front. Stage 1 complete for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's the SRS Distribution 250 here in Texas. And when you look at the top 10, those that got stage points there, none of those drivers have made a pit stop. So we'll see them all here for the first time when pit road opens up. For Noah Gragson, wins the stage. That's his 6th stage win of the year and 7th in a row for Junior Motorsports. I mean, they are absolutely winning everything right now.
Yeah, you can't beat momentum, and when you hit those packages right and on whatever kind of racetrack it is, and you get into a flow of things that are working for you, and you have that confidence like you talked earlier, it's just hard to beat.
There's no doubt they are a team to beat. All of them. All of them. The 9, the 7, the 8. All of them are really, really quick every single race. You know they're going to be racing for the lead against each other. These guys race hard with each other, too. There's a little drama filled some weeks with those guys.
And I think the guy that will cycle to the front with all the strategy, another junior motorsports car, and Josh Berry. We'll follow that in a minute. First, here they come down pit road, Josh.
And the one of Sam Mayer, he says he can't get on the throttle like he wants to through turn 4. They're going to make a chassis adjustment and add a round in the right rear. And then for Brandon Jones in the 19, he says he's too tight through the center, so they're going to loosen him up, Jamie.
AJ Allmendinger, great work in stage number 1 for him. He's just on the edge of tight and loose. Needs a little more confidence getting back to the throttle. This 7 and Justin Allgaier building tight, needs to turn a little bit better in the apex. And then 9 of Noah Gregson, wedge adjustment, air pressure, just needs a little bit more rear grip.
Brandon Jones, first off pit road. Just in front of Allgaier, +3 for the 19. Sheldon Creed, who needs a good run today, came in 68 points below the cut line. Really good pit stop, +4. Noah Gregson won the stage, but goes in the wrong direction.
Style up to 7. See what he's got to say. Hey, Justin, Kevin up in the Fox booth. Look, good run for you there in the first stage. Tell us about the racetrack. We saw you were one of the first ones to move up into the resin and kind of top bottom on the restarts. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, Kevin, it's kind of unique. You know, this resin has obviously added some traction and some grip, but I think you risk the heating the tires up a little bit more because it does have that traction. So, you know, once we got to the end of the run there, we got some of those cycles on tires, those restarts, I just got a little bit too tight. We felt like the top was the right choice, just I cycled a little bit too tight on the tires. So, all in all, really, really happy with our Hello Auto Camaro. Really impressed with how much speed we've got, not only ourselves, but our whole company at Junior Motorsports. So hats off to Chevrolet and the Hendrick engine department. Obviously, all the guys and gals that work back in the shop. This is it's a fun piece to drive. I can assure you of that.
Well, Junior Motorsports is impressive every week. Keep it up, man.
Thanks, buddy.
34 race winless streak. Snapped a couple of weeks ago at Darlington. Allgaier feeling good again today. Stage 2 when we return to Texas. This kid doing his impersonation of Joey or Kevin when they win the All-Star race tomorrow night, right?
That dinosaur on his shirt.
Coleman, we're doing the choose. What do you see here?
A whole new cast of characters up here. It's going to be really interesting to see how this restart plays out. Let's back up to the last two restarts. The second row was the exact same with Brandon Jones and Austin Hill. Biggest thing I'm going to notice and keep note of for late in the race, neither one of them can attach to the leader, whether it be the bottom lane control or the top lane control. So if I'm choosing the lead at the end of the race and I see one of these guys behind me, I'm going to relay to my driver and say, hey, these guys haven't been able to attach all day. It's going to be interesting to watch Tyler Reddick and William Byron, two Cup guys, to see how well they can get attached and how that changes the stats for this restart.
The one thing I would add to that is it's hard to get attached here because of the wheel spin and all the things that happen on the front straightaway, and it's just so easy to get into the guy a little bit too hard as he's shifting into third gear, and sometimes that gets him squirrely. But you can do it right, but it's just really touchy.
Well, they got new tires now, so you got a little bit of that. And now if you're Justin Allgaier in the back, you're starting back in 18th position after you got these tires. Let's listen into him.
So many landmines ahead of us. I don't mean that in a derogatory way.
Oh, I know what you mean. That's why we both get paid the big bucks, right? At least that's what they say.
You just have to take your time, because what he's saying is there's a good opportunity to get a fender caved in or the grill knocked in or something go wrong with everything that's mixed up.
Yeah, take your time, but you better go.
Yeah.
Top 16 pitted at either lap 27 or 33. Those front runners all pitted into the stage at lap 42. We'll see how quickly they get to the front. And here we go green in stage number 2.
Bottom lane, Josh Berry getting a good launch there on Landon Castle.
Yeah, and the one thing I've noticed about the top lane is they're going in under the PJ1, under the resin. So we've seen that out of Allgaier the last restart, and now we see it out of Landon Castle. So I would think it's just a distance.
Yeah. Either that or they're trying to keep the bottom car pinched to where they can't keep the momentum, possibly. But this is going to be a cluster. Anytime you have fast cars in the back with maybe not as fast of cars towards the front of the pack or the middle of the pack, it just causes a hornet's nest. That's what you're going to see here on this restart.
Landon Castle in the 10, coming from the back in a backup car. They've played strategy. He's in the top 5. Racing William Byron. Riley Herbst is right there in the 98. He's having a great year for Stewart-Haas Racing.
Yeah, and we help Riley with a lot of things, and you know, I think the biggest thing that Riley has done a really good job at this year is just when he has a 10th place car, let's just finish 10th with it, because if you just take care of your car and put yourself in position, don't make any mistakes on pit road, do the little things right, and they've been doing that.
So, whoa, feather in the gas, trying to get his quarter.
All clear, all clear, all clear.
This is Noah Gragson trying to work his way back through the field. He just won the stage. Look how far back he is now. And where do you go? He's fighting all that dirty air, trying to find anything he can. It's going to take a minute to get back up there.
And the car's probably driving a little bit different right now, too, in all that
Absolutely.
traffic. Huh? Herbst makes the pass for 4th. Josh Berry, the new man out front, Jamie.
Yeah, doing a really nice job. And you know, we talk about Josh Berry so much, and everybody just assumes, well, he's a veteran racer. He never raced in ARCA, never raced in the truck series. He comes to these tracks, he's still learning. This is just his second time ever to Texas. And I talked to his crew chief, Mike Bumgarner, on the right there this morning. He used to work with Mark Martin back in the day. He said, Josh Berry reminds me so much of Mark Martin. He just gets it. He's a racer's racer, knows how to work on these cars, and knows what it takes to figure it out. He continues to lead here. The car is good.
I like that comparison. Josh Berry, Mark Martin.
Not a bad guy to be compared to. Mark Martin, a lot of wins, especially in the Xfinity Series. He dominated for years in the Xfinity Series, also in the Cup Series. But yeah, not a bad guy to be compared to. A great racer for sure.
Gregson, Brandon Jones continue their climb after pitting. Both back inside the top 15 now, inside the top 12, I guess. Sheldon Creed rallying outside lane in the 2 car.
And these are still some of the cars that flipped the stage, right? So these guys have better track position than they did towards the end of the first stage because of the pit cycle and how it all worked. And they're making the most of it. They're hanging out there pretty much where they restarted. But something I see on the leaderboard over there, look at the 6th spot. Justin Allgaier in the 7 car. He is all the way up to 6th. He's passing cars quicker than anybody else that started back there. You don't really see any of the other ones. You know, Jones, who else is up there? AJ, a lot of those guys that were up there at the end of the stage.
Yeah, I was looking at Jones and Gregson. Then I got to digging deeper. Here's Sheldon Creed. Here's Justin Allgaier. Those are the ones that have really made up the most ground. In fact, Allgaier around Castle puts himself back in the top 5.
Yeah, and you see Allgaier back on the bottom of the racetrack as he just went around Landon Castle. I think he's got the best car currently.
I think so. You know, and he's had this so many times this year. He's had the fastest car. He finally capitalized in Darlington and got the win. Finally, after a year. But he's been in contention to win so many other times. And here today, you see him in another fast car if they can keep the handle on it throughout it. And here we go again with the Josh Berry in one of the fast JRM cars we talk about, being chased by one of the best, Tyler Reddick, in the 48.
Yeah, and what a turnaround for Reddick. You know, he started the first part of the race and his car looked extremely loose, and now they've had an opportunity to adjust on their car and make it better, and he's able to run up on the top of the racetrack. Throws a little fake there to act like he's going to go to the bottom.
I don't know if that move worked out as well as he was hoping it to.
Junior Motorsports has led every lap in the race today. Noah Gregson, Justin Allgaier, and now Josh Berry, but that might change. And boy, you talk about a team that is finding their way. Big Machine Racing, Scott Borchetta started this operation a year ago. Patrick Donahue, veteran crew chief, he oversees the competition operation as well. They've gained on it, and big bad break here for Sheldon Creed, the rookie for Richard Childress Racing, who won the Truck Series championship a couple of years ago.
How's that out of nowhere? Roll apron if we can. Still got a little bit of debris, no oil though.
You see him going through 3 and 4. Hit those bumps right there, Kevin, and got loose.
Yeah, those bumps in the middle of 3 and 4, the higher you go, the worse they get. And if your car's edgy, as you saw right there, the back will just get out from underneath you.
And he wasn't the only one here that had some contact. That's his teammate, the 21 of Austin Hill, into the 31 of Myatt Snyder.
Huh.
What's up in the 2 camp, Jamie?
Yeah, and I talked to Sheldon this morning about his car. He almost wrecked yesterday in qualifying, just so free. They're really focusing on trying to find more speed in these race cars, but that comes at the expense of not driving good and just being on that edge, as you guys just mentioned, and it has continued into the race today, just not comfortable with it. You heard him there. It was out of nowhere.
Just over a month ago, he was above the cut line, feeling pretty good about things. 22nd or worse in 4 of the last 5 races. He's 15th in the standings, and issues once again for Creed. Under caution for the 4th time today, Texas Motor Speedway, NASCAR Xfinity Series. Sheldon Creed bringing out the yellow flag.
Yeah, and we saw at the end of that where the 21 and 31 hit. The 31 was trying to come off the wall because they hit that big SMI styrofoam piece that sticks up above the wall that's shattered all over the racetrack.
Does Marcus think that's cool, or is he bummed out his styrofoam piece just got knocked out?
That's a good question.
I'm going with cool. I think he thinks it's cool.
Yeah, I'd say in the marketing world, that's a win. They're taping up Creed's car. Josh Berry leads, and second right now is Tyler Reddick. And you know, you think about what he's doing with Big Machine Racing and where this organization has come from. I talked about Scott Borchetta. You know, he's the founder of Big Machine Records. He's worked with so many great artists over the years, but he absolutely loves motorsports, and they are starting to see the fruits of their labor with this race team, Josh.
Yeah, and they certainly are. And to start the race, we saw Tyler Reddick was on the front row. Well, they were too tight to start out. They fell back, but in that last stop, they made the adjustments they needed. He said now the balance is good. He feels it's still a little tight, but it's good enough for right now. And now the biggest concern for him is how the drivers are doing behind him, if they're getting any time on that resin, because he's been using it, but he wants to know if the guys behind him are using it to gain some ground.
You know, and as Josh gives this report on where the 48 is today, Kevin, you and I were talking, there's a much bigger picture here with this race team and utilizing a driver like Tyler Reddick.
Well, I'd start right there because I analyzed it as tight, or as loose, and they're talking about it being tight. But I think when you talk about the RCR relationship and having Tyler Reddick in the car, and you look at the 2-car here, tore up from probably just a car that was right on the edge of spinning out, you need Tyler Reddick's assistance in trying to help your program go forward, whether it's at RCR or Big Machine Record. You want to do the best you can with your car and going forward to make the right adjustments to it to make it faster.
It's been a long day for our defending champ, Daniel Hemrick. I mean, he hit the wall early and come down pit road here. Tire gets away, so they're penalized.
Yeah, those penalties hurt a little extra because there's no reason for it. They weren't racing anybody on pit road.
Let's get a report on Justin Allgaier, who's going to restart on row 4. Jamie?
Well, Adam, when we started this race, we had some cloud cover. Now we are full sun, and it's definitely feeling hotter. Well, Justin Allgaier from this seat noting how the track is changing.
I mean, the track's definitely changing. You know, with everybody running up a little bit, it's probably drug a little bit down to the bottom. And then just with the amount of rubber that we're laying down, like, I think it's just getting greasier, you know what I mean?
And the tires don't really wear, you know. I think it's just do the best job you can, keep the heat out of them.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it comes down to, is the heat in the tires. So it's, you know, it's like we talked early in the race. You run those air pressures low, and sometimes that's where they rub over on the fenders in 3 and 4 as they go through those bumps. So you want to run them as low as possible, but you also want to take off pretty good. And so it's kind of a balance as far as the long run, short run, and they've had a good car on both, and I think the best car in the long run.
Riley Herbst restarting 4th here.
Yeah, Timmy, has that headwind changed at all? Or is that pretty much what we've had the whole time? I know it's picked up. The wind's kind of changing around. It's almost got a headwind at times down the back instead of a tail.
Yeah, 10-4.
There's a familiar voice on the radio.
That's right. That is a familiar one. And the flags are definitely blowing compared to the start of the race.
Tim Fida, we're working with Kevin tomorrow for the All-Star race. Restart, 18 to go, second stage. Josh Berry jumps out front.
That bottom lane once again strong on these restarts every single time. You see Reddick up top, William Byron on the bottom. Oh, and we got another spinner. He's gonna save it.
Hang on to it.
He's got it.
Keep rolling here. Keep rolling.
And we stay
no
green.
Yellow yet. No yellow.
How about that?
Keep on digging. We gotta get some green flag racing in. I like it.
David Starr, native of Houston, Texas, 54 years old, driving for SS Greenlight Racing. And here's the battle for second. A couple of series champions, Reddick and Byron.
Then you got the 7 of Justin Allgaier right behind him as well.
What do you have, Coleman?
Hey, just looking at, we're talking about how the 7 made so much time up after that last pit sequence. Now look behind him, the 9 car. First car to go to the top of 3 through turns 1 and 2. I watched him gain 2 rows right there. Now he's back on par with the guy who he's competing for in the first stage. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys use the traction compound to get these next couple guys.
You see that run that Noah had down the straightaway. You got to decide, am I going to the top or the bottom, top or the bottom? Probably wanted the top if he can get it. The 18 blocked that, so you got to go where he's not sometimes.
And now the battle for the lead. Here comes Tyler Reddick. Inside of Josh Berry.
This is going to be tough. You see him loose on the bottom. Josh Berry squeezing him a little bit on the bottom, taking some of that air off that door, taking that side force away, maintaining the lead.
I think Tyler Reddick's loose is different than my loose.
I know. When he said he was tight, I'm not really buying that.
and he didn't make the move for the lead, unable to get by Berry. And now he's got big-time company. I mean, Allgaier's there, William Byron is there, and Noah Gragson on the move again, as Coleman talked about. And you see it, and we said it. All laps today led by those JRM Chevrolets.
And Kevin, this is where it gets tricky. If you're Tyler Reddick, if you're William Byron, Justin Allgaier, you're all in a line. And if you try to make the move to pass somebody and don't successfully pull it off, there's a good chance you lose a spot. Once you get side by side, you're going to lose that momentum. And if you don't clear them, you're going to lose one. So you got to be very strategic about when you make the move and being sure you can clear them, kind of like Noah is right there.
Yeah, it's all about minimizing the damage when you're in that position, because when you're running second, that's a whole lot different than fourth, because you know, you're a lot closer to controlling the race, and you might have a chance to overtake them on the pit stop if you don't get by. So you definitely have to minimize the mistakes and the chances that you take when you try to make that pass, for sure.
And that's where Coleman as a spotter and all spotters, you got to be able to paint that picture of what's the risk I'm taking before I make the move. I got to know what the risk is before I'm willing to take it.
Reddick peaking again, nothing doing, 12 to go in the stage.
But there you see all the momentum that he lost, and now Justin Allgaier's got to the inside, who I think has had the best car on the inside, and he just slides up the track.
He's gonna cross him back.
Here comes Reddick.
He clear him back, you think?
Now Byron's there. What'd you say about momentum?
Back and forth. But that's because Justin knew he had to clear him unless he was going to probably lose a spot. Reddick realized he's getting the slider pulled on him. He checked up and pulled it back down, and they're still going at it.
And you know who's loving this is Gragson. He said, keep racing, fellas, and I'll just keep reeling you in.
48 he got too high in the resin right there. You can see those, it used to be white dotted lines in the corner. That's really where you want the right side tires, and he just got above that, and it's just not ready.
Top 5 cars right now, all Chevrolets. In the last 15 races here, only one time has a Chevy pulled into victory lane. Could very well change today. Berry out front, Allgaier second, Byron, Reddick, Gragson the top 5. We're going side by side here at Texas. Closing on the end of stage 2 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Texas with Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick. I'm Adam Alexander, Jamie Little, Josh Sims on the pit lane, Coleman Presley looking over things high above the spotter stand. 4 to go in this second stage, and it's all about Junior Motorsports. They've got the top 3, 5 of the top 7, and trying to sweep the stages here. Josh Berry in command.
He's doing a good job maintaining the lead here. Remember, he's on a little bit older tire than the rest of these guys behind him, and he's doing a good job using that clean air, working the lap traffic as you see there around the 38 car, doing a good job maintaining it. He's had some battles with the 7, but he's been able to maintain the lead.
Yeah, and as that resin is the preferred line, you can see that, as long as he can keep his car from not making a big mistake and put it in the right spot, he's able to block the air and get those cars behind him a little bit tight.
I want to go back to the PJ1 resin that you guys continue to mention. PJ1 is a company, resin is a product. NASCAR and the track work together. They put it down to add grip in the corners, to overall improve the racing product, give drivers options. That's what we're talking about when we reference that. And you can see it in the corners of the track because that area of the surface is so much darker. 3 to go in the stage. What's up, Coleman?
Hey, as we finish this last stage and go into the final stage, the biggest thing I'm noticing, the 7 of Justin Allgaier. Backing his entry up to 1 a little bit. Look at how good he gets across the center of the corner. If he could ever get that last little bit of turn, get his left front clean at the 2/3, the opportunity's there for him to make a run and maybe pull a quarter panel and pull the 8 car back. But the biggest thing is watching how he backs up the entry and really turns across the center.
I said 3 to go in the stage. It was actually 2. And now the final lap. Everybody chasing Josh Berry.
Yeah, just see what that air means, man. They're all stacked up. If he loses that air, he's going back a long ways. I don't think it's going to be an issue as he goes through 3 and 4 here to grab a stage win.
Is it different when it's your teammate? Do you handle this circumstance a little differently if you were racing someone else?
I don't think he could if he wanted to.
Okay, there you go. Josh Berry wins the stage. A sweep for Junior Motorsports. Noah Gragson won the first 40-lap stint of the day. Allgaier, Byron, Gregson, Reddick, the top 5. Truex and May are also getting points. Stage 2 complete, Texas Motor Speedway. And seeing a lot of faces from Junior Motorsports there. They've been so good. I mean, I hate to beat the dead horse. I think you can say that since we are in Texas, but boy, they have been incredible today. In fact, it's like those cars were shot out of a cannon. That's the Rocket Man. And no, it's not Ryan.
It's not the Rocket Man. That's a Rocket Man.
I love that.
He's all excited. Look at him. He didn't even strap his helmet.
Oh, my gosh.
The style points here for the flip.
The slow-mo is so much more dramatic. And he stuck the landing. Pit road is open, Josh.
Yeah, let's start with the 88 of William Byron. Said he was a little tight on exit, so they're going to make an adjustment for him. The 48 of Tyler Reddick said he was getting a little too loose, especially when cars got in his bumper, so they made an air pressure adjustment. Jamie?
Justin Allgaier in the 7, really good. He just said with about 4 to go in the stage, the right rear started to unhook. His teammate Josh Berry just won his 2nd stage of the year. Got a little bit better that run, but the 9, he is hooked up. No adjustments for Noah Gragson. They are happy.
But for the 2nd straight trip down pit road, Noah Gragson loses ground, 4 positions. Berry wins the race off, and someone going to start in the back because a tire did, in fact, get away. And now we talk to Josh Berry, winner of stage 2.
You know, style mode. Josh Berry, Joey Logano in the Fox booth. You got me?
Yep, I got you.
Hey, man, fantastic job hanging on to that clean air. I know that is so important. Your pit crew just did a great job on keeping you that clean air. Now it's going to be all about the restart. How's that thing driving? You tuned on it a little bit?
Yeah, we did. Obviously, Mike Bumgarner, his whole Jarrett team, made a good call there, flipping the stage, got up front, we were able to hold on. We were pretty tight at the end there, just trying to hang on to the clean air and fend off my teammates. But we worked on it a little bit right here. We'll see if we can hold on to it.
Copy that, man. Keep that clean air. Seems like the name of the game.
10-4, thank you, guys.
That's now 8 consecutive stage victories for Junior Motorsports. They've swept in 4 consecutive races. The 3rd of the year for Josh Berry. We're back for the final stage in a moment. Hang on. It's May 21st. Here's what happened on this date. Bicycle introduced to the United States in 1819. I feel like since you're going to be doing the play-by-play next weekend, Kevin, maybe you should be doing some of this stuff.
I thought you were going to tell me that you rode the bike.
No, I don't. I ride a bike, just not that one. Marvin Gaye with a big single release, and Chase Briscoe. Who could forget that win? Beat Kyle Busch at Darlington. It was right after we had come back from the COVID break, and that was on the heels of your big win that weekend.
Yeah, but my win wasn't as exciting as his. That was a race.
It was.
That was fantastic.
So we had a few issues here on pit road. Let's listen in on Team 48.
Handle broke. Grab it on the bottom. You have got to be fight through that. That could have been a lot worse, guys. Good fight there. Will, I lost a few.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, back to 6th in the running order. That's pretty good.
Yeah, big chews there. And you see Ty Gibbs
just surviving,
battling back through. Had a spin, starting in the back.
I feel like every time he wins too, he's had some kind of problem in the race. Maybe today is his day, Coleman.
Yeah, real quick, want to talk about Sam Mayer as well. We've seen how good he's been in the third stage. He's come to these tracks for the first time. Now he's in a position to maybe contend with his teammates, and stage 3's been his strength all year.
That's a good point. You know, I think some of that is, hey, he's a rookie. He's new to this thing. You know, it takes a few laps to get a hang of it, where you're at, tune on your car a little bit. It's like we say, limited practice. Get to the third stage, it's game time.
All Junior Motorsports front row. Final stage, 80 to go. Here comes Barry and Allgaier.
We'll see if the bottom lane can do it again. Yeah, Justin Allgaier back up top again. Whoa, he's going to lose it.
Barry sideways. Can he hang on?
Oh.
And look at this. Ty Gibbs, Noah Gregson involved.
Oh, my.
6th caution of the day, and some major players receiving damage in this one.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier, guys. You know, that bottom car is so vulnerable on those restarts if that outside car is able to stay there, and I think that's what caught Josh Berry right there and just lost it.
It looks like Josh Berry maybe limited damage. Let's look at the restart here. You see those two cars racing hard for the lead. We know what the clean air means, so they should be racing hard. And as they get to the center of the corner, you see the 8 just start to lose the back. Byron did a good job missing him, and you see when they all move up behind him, they just skid. When there's a wreck in the front of the pack on a restart, it's just going to have a big crash.
Yeah, and it's not like Justin was just late on his door, but it's just the cars are just on edge right there as you come up off of turn 2, especially on the restarts where you're trying to run as close to wide open as possible.
Barry had saved it, and then Matt Mills nowhere to go and tagged him in the left rear. I'm not sure how much damage, but before that, I don't think he had any other than whatever
look at this
he was dealing with his tires.
Reddick, same thing. That's so close.
Yeah.
When you see the hood flaps come up, that's when you know you're dangerously close to hitting something.
Riding with Noah Gregson. This is our Chevy onboard camera.
Here, keep going.
Nothing he can do there.
Here, lock it down right here. Lock it down.
Just get tagged in the left rear. Just part of it.
Back down. We got impaled from behind again.
Byron, thank you very much. Reddick gets by, but actually I think it was them sliding up around him that got the 54-9 connected out there.
It's
in that
hard to tell
lane,
right there, but the 19 might have got the
That's
54.
what I was thinking.
Did he?
As fast as the 54 went up the racetrack, I think the 19 ran the back of him.
Easy, back it down.
I see him bump up a little bit.
So crazy. See them all let go of the steering wheel. Like I never felt like a wreck is over until I stop.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I got to keep steering.
Yeah.
They all do it now.
Yeah.
What's your natural, reaction there? Because I feel like everybody's a little bit. Well, let's look at this first. Yeah, that was after they were already spinning, so hard to tell exactly what created the 54.9.
Oh, the 8 got hit really hard. Yeah. Back tires came off the ground and got hit so hard.
Yeah, Matt Mills got him. Here's Ty Gibbs' radio.
Man, he's ran over me twice. Freaking cloud. Where the? Everyone, hide now. That's twice. We'll got work on it here.
I think he's frustrated because the caution came out before and he got tagged in the left rear, and now the wreck in front of him, he's caught in. He's just not his weekend.
54 swept the races here a year ago, and as you said, not a great day for Ty Gibbs. A lot of damage for some great drivers.
We've got a big doubleheader coming your way. Coming up next, Manny Machado and the Padres take on the Giants. Then at 9, the A's take on Ohtani, Trout, and the Angels. It all starts next on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
Just like you've done it a million times. You're going to be the play-by-play guy for Drivers Only next week.
Yeah, that's scary.
You ready for it again?
Not really.
This is like the warm-up again before you do the Drivers Only.
It is the warm-up, and today I realized I had no belt loops in my pants, broke my button on my shirt. So it's been, COVID has kind of taken away from the attire. I feel like I'm more gym shorts and T-shirts than I am suits and ties.
This is a nice dry run. And I look at this race, 6 cautions today. The last 8 races here, we've had at least 8 cautions. We're working toward that again.
There's still a long ways to go. You see these cars, a lot of them are torn up. There's probably going to be more cautions from debris, these cars falling apart. You see everybody trying to fix these things after all those wrecks. It's probably going to breed more and more cautions.
Justin Allgaier is now the race leader, and this is all worked out for him for sure. And, it's a busy time for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Home base is Charlotte. So you come down to the Southwest to race at Texas today. And after this afternoon's race, they'll load up the haulers, head back to Charlotte. Drivers only as we talked about. Next Saturday, Charlotte Motor Speedway on FS1. Then, first trip to Portland for the Xfinity Series. That's June 4th.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, and then you know what? 2 weeks off before an 18-week run to finish the year for these Xfinity cars. And you think about all the damage that we've had today. I mean, they're going to have their work cut out for them the next couple of weeks.
Better have a couple ready to go at the shop.
Well, and I think that's one thing that people on the outside don't really understand are the logistics and how massive of an undertaking it is to get these cars from week to week all across the country.
Absolutely. We see a lot of hitters taken out on this thing. A lot of cars that are fast enough to win the race. Ty Gibbs, Josh Berry, Noah Gragson. Yeah, those guys were all hitters. Now you look at the front. Justin Allgaier, William Byron, Truex, Mayer, Reddick. Those guys are all still really fast cars in the hunt to win this thing. And if you're one of those guys, you're not that sad about seeing what just happened. You know what? A lot of the competition just got taken out. My chances of winning are better. I better capitalize while I have this opportunity.
Junior Motorsports dominating this race. They led all the laps only one time in a race in the history of the organization. Atlanta 2014. Old number 5, driven by Happy Harvick, got the checkers.
Atlanta, the old Atlanta surface was very good to us.
You were decent there.
It was okay.
Quite a few wins.
William Byron, front row with Justin Allgaier. 73 to go.
So Justin taking the top, good launch, clears William on the bottom, no problem. And they're going to race it out behind him really tight. Look at that bottom lane. Everybody was right on each other's bumper going into the corner.
Ryan Truex making some things happen in that outside lane, driving the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Assist from the 21 of Austin Hill.
Look at that momentum Williams able to carry on the bottom there.
Mayer drifting up in the 1. Reddick drives back through in the 48.
I tell you, restarts are everything right now in this sport. Whether it's Xfinity or Cup, you got to execute restarts the best as possible. The choose rule, how your car fires off, these things are so important to establish track position. It's way harder to pass cars once it gets strung out. So you got to get everything you can on these starts and be ultra aggressive.
Yeah, the one thing that'll be interesting to see how it develops this particular run is how that resin develops in turn 1. We saw William Byron going higher on the entry there into turn 1 and kind of cutting down. You know, as we run here, it's not like that PJ1. That resin will wear out and move around, and you know, we've seen that at a few different tracks, and those guys have been definitely searching around a little bit more when they get into traffic.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm looking back through the top 10, and 5 drivers have picked up their first career victory at Texas. Mayer's up there, Truex, and you got some candidates that could go out and get it done today and celebrate big time, not just winning, but doing it at a place that is so difficult. And for Mayer, if he could win today, he would join his JRM teammates, and we're going to get our 7th caution. This is what happens. You have cautions, you have damage, and then more of this.
Yeah, you look at the way that car was repaired. The spoiler was knocked down quite a bit. The deck lid wasn't really sealed up to the windshield, the rear glass real well. You know, making that car probably undrivable loose, and I believe it's very undrivable now.
Hey, it's been a great year for Noah. Already has a couple of wins.
He's done now.
Yeah, he won a stage today. All of that helps this, you know, feel a little bit better, salvage something out of what's been a frustrating ending to the afternoon.
And they had a good car today, and you know, I think that's probably the thing that you take from it. You don't want to kill the momentum that you had coming into the race. You got to understand you still had a good car today, and go home and do it again next week. Got to have a short memory.
That's right. Fail fast and move on.
Yep.
Led 32 laps today, did Noah Gragson.
Oh, tire popped. Can hear it.
Lock it down, lock it down. You all right?
So it looked like he was already hanging on a little bit. You can hear the, right rear or left rear, one of them popped and swung around on him. That's probably, a rub in the back, right, where he crashed the first time and repairing the damage, crushed panels, whatnot back there. Who knows what it could be. And now look at that drift. That's not the kind you want.
Noah Gragson to the garage. His day is done. His teammate Justin Allgaier showing the way here at Texas.
Harvick Nation.
Logano Nation.
Good to see Blaney on the booth. He's the only guy without glasses. Maybe they need somebody who could see up there.
I got promoted to the air conditioning.
We're probably going to screw up, and we all know that.
These guys are really paying attention, too. Yeah. But it's always so much fun to have all the drivers on pit road as well.
Don't change the channel. This is the NASCAR Xfinity Series, drivers only broadcast.
You did a good job right there.
Oh, man.
I just love sitting in the back of the room, looking forward to this. Next Saturday, coverage begins noon Eastern time on FS1 from Charlotte. Austin Cindric joining the party.
I say, surely, a lot of us have done this a few times. We've got to get better eventually. Surely we'll be better next week.
I would hope so.
Right?
But did Brad just take a dig at us?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure.
It won't be the last. Let's hear from Noah Gragson, Jamie.
Really big hit there for the second time for Noah Gragson. He brings the car back in. It's half a car at this point. Noah, first off, are you okay? That was a pretty big hit there.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just self-inflicted there. We lost spots on pit road both times down, and yeah, you're in a different position than if you maintain. So overall, very thankful for everybody on this Bass Pro Shop team, and I guess the only positives is we got a stage or a playoff point with a stage win, but it definitely sucks. It's great to see all 5 of the JRM cars. They're running really strong. We're 1, 2, 3 right now with Justin and William. So hopefully we can get the company a good finish today. But overall, just a bummer. The Hendrick engines, everybody at the Hendrick engine shop, they've been doing awesome. A lot of steam under the hood. Just disappointed. We were pretty quick, just biding my time, and just got caught up in it. So super thankful, just unfortunate. We'll work hard, and definitely a disappointing end of the day.
Noah Gragson led 32 laps today, Adam.
Thank you, Jamie. And there were some guys that came down pit road because we're kind of on the outside edge of the window. 67 to go is when they came, and among them that pitted the 48 of Tyler Reddick, Josh.
Yeah, and they were on the edge of their window. They elected to come in there and get tires and fuel. Just a decision there to try and make a gamble and pit then.
Yeah, Brandon Brown, Anthony Alfredo also pitted. Austin Hill, Riley Herbst. We'll keep an eye on those drivers should we get a long green flag run, because the top 15 plus all going to have to make one more pit stop, and we're going to get a restart here with 64 to go. Allgaier again says, give me the outside lane with Byron to his inside.
Yeah, it worked for him last time. He's taken the top every time, whether he's chosen it or he's in second place. He still wanted the top. So I think he's got his mind made up where he wants to be.
The guy that impresses me is still right up in there is Ryan Truex. We haven't talked about him much today, but he's right there in third.
It's true.
Kind of the last hope for Joe Gibbs Racing, right? I mean, Brandon Jones has had problems. Obviously, Ty Gibbs. Big jump again for the 7 of Allgaier.
All right, the 88 is clear. You got 3 on him.
Bailey Curry making it 3 wide. Austin Hill, Brandon Brown.
Oh, and that was tight there. It's Tyler Reddick there in the green car in the 48 racing with Brandon Brown. That was close down into turn 3.
And now we've got 2 races going on. You've got the guys that have pitted who are hoping that they can make it to the end, and you got the guys up front who will have to pit if it goes green. So if you're one of those guys that pitted, you want to stay just in front of the guy in second that was the second one to pit in case it goes green to the end.
Yes, you want to be leading your strategy.
That's
whatever
right.
that is, you want to be on the front end of it and wait to see how that goes. But I like the pit call of you're close enough to your window, try to go for it, and tires aren't wearing off that much. If you're Tyler Reddick, I think that's a great move.
2 drivers looking for their first career win. Sam Mayer, Ryan Truex. Kevin, you talked about the 18 staying strong in that inside lane.
Well, that's impressive too, because Ryan hasn't showed up to race every week, and this is just not an easy place to race. Really, no place is easy to race up front and be competitive when you only show up every once in a while. So hats off to Ryan. He's doing a great job. Obviously, we've talked about the Joe Gibbs Racing success here, but you still have to be able to drive it fast enough and make the right moves, and today keep it rolling.
Absolutely. You can have a fast car, but someone's still got to hold on to the steering wheel and do all the right pieces there. So it's a total team effort in NASCAR. I tell you, it's so easy for us to say it's a driver because he's the one that we all talk about and see, but without the right parts and pieces and people all in the right places, it doesn't work. You heard Noah Gragson in his interview a minute ago, saying that it's self-inflicted. Some of us might say he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, but he put himself in that position by having a bad pit stop or losing track position. You always look at what you can do as a team better first.
We talk about the strategy and how the lineup is shuffled. Give some huge props to the 11 of Daniel Hemrick. He is 6 right now. I mean, this is really a nice effort by Alex Johnson, this entire team.
Yeah, and I think as you talk about all the cautions, especially the early cautions after Daniel wrecked, they had a lot of time to come in and work on that car and make some quality repairs, learn their weaknesses, and make their car better.
Brett Moffitt shooting up the middle. J.J. Yaley to his inside. Myatt Snyder in that 31 outside there.
I tell you what, Kevin, you know how hard it is to go through 1 and 2, 3 wide. Oh, that had recipe for disaster spelt all over it.
Here comes Reddick up to 8th. He's right behind Austin Hill. Hill, the best of the bunch of those drivers that made a pit stop at lap 100, and the 21 drives by the 11 of Hemrick. So Austin Hill now up to 6th.
And Austin wants to get as far ahead as he can. Like if the second car is Tyler Reddick, he wants to get as far ahead of him as possible, because if they are close on gas, he needs to go into fuel conservation as soon as the guys on the radio say, hey, we're 2 laps short, we're a lap short. It's hard to tell where they are exactly, but you want to have a gap so that you can start saving fuel as soon as you can.
Yeah, if it goes green here, that can possibly be the race for the win right there.
Reddick restarted 18th, and he's up to 8th. So in just a handful of laps, he's made up 10 positions. Give him 11 as he drives by Hemrick to 7th. And we've not said his name in a while, but here we are late in the race, and look who's in the top 10 again, Jamie.
And A.J. Allmendinger, we talked about it, Adam, that he didn't get any practice time yesterday with the technical inspection issue. So the car has been off. He's had his hands full today. They've worked on it. He was crashing loose mid-race, worked on it. Now he's saying he's out of the track, but still running top 5, hoping to keep that top 10 streak alive. Finished top 10 every single race this season.
Yeah, I don't think we can talk enough about how impressive it is that A.J. Allmendinger is finished in the top 10 every single race. Battle for the lead here. William Byron, Justin Allgaier.
It's all junior motorsports. It's all the time. Barry has led. Gregson has led. Allgaier. Now it's William Byron on point in the 88. But for how long will he stay there? Crossover by the 7.
Oh!
And contact.
Here comes Sam Mayer on that momentum.
Yeah, and I think Justin knew that. He's like, I got to get up as quick as I can, and just slightly misjudge it there, trying to squeeze in the gap. And oh man, that was tight.
It's tight again.
Yeah.
Now, I said contact. I mean, that wasn't an arrow thing. He definitely caught him, right? You agree, or maybe not?
No, he definitely caught him. I think he just misjudged.
Yeah, I don't think he was trying to do anything there.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. I just thought maybe it was more of an arrow thing than it was actual contact. I want to make sure he did get him. This lady loved the pass for the lead. William Byron showing the way with 54 to go.
See if we can cool them down a little. I'm sure it's maybe not getting a little soft or something here.
All right, that's 7-team radio, and they did have a tire going down. It was the left rear for Justin Allgaier, so the caution is out. 8th yellow of the day, and now we'll see what impact this has on all the strategies and who cycles to the front. It would appear that Austin Hill and Tyler Reddick are going to find their way to the front here when these other guys come down and get their pit stop. Allgaier in now.
Yeah, that's a bad break, but a good break at the same time. Right, the left rear tire blew out down the straightaway, which allowed him to save the car and have a chance to fight again. And also the caution came out, and so he's able to, I believe, stay on the lead lap here.
Looks like he does. We'll follow up there in a second. Right now, pit stops, Josh.
Yeah, let's start with the 88 of William Byron. Said the entry is manageable at this point. Still a little tight, though. And the 1 of Sam Mayer says the car's building tight on the throttle as he gets fuel. Jamie?
AJ Allmendinger in the 16. I said he's completely out of the track again. They're just going to try to help him there with an air pressure adjustment. No major chassis adjustments here, and 4 tires for Allmendinger.
Austin Hill, Brandon Jones stay out. They had pitted at lap 100. Reddick had also pitted then, but of course he elects to come down here and get tires, stay in the same cycle as those guys that had been out front. Landon Castle goes 2 tires. He's plus 14. Byron, Truex, Reddick, Mayer, the top 5 off of pit road. Inside of 50 laps to go for the Xfinity Series at Texas. Just about ready for a restart. 47 laps to go for the Xfinity Series in the SRS Distribution 250 here at Texas. And now we get to our Xfinity fastest lap. And I'm going to guess at least 4 of the top 5 junior motorsports. 3 of the top 5. There you go. Best of the day. Justin Allgaier, both he and Austin Hill going below 30 seconds. And it will be Austin Hill who is leading the race when we return to the green. Takes the outside lane. Brandon Jones also staying out here. And this is going to be interesting, Coleman. We're out of balance on tires, and strategy starting to become the name of the game a little bit.
Yeah, strategy's different. Austin Hill got the best gift that you can get, clean air. Now the race is going to be, how long is it going to take for the 88 of William Byron, the 1 of Sam Mayer, the 48 of Tyler Reddick to get through the cushion? The cushion could have been a little bit bigger, but Tyler Reddick brought a couple of the other strategy guys down. I'm looking for Austin Hill to try to get the lead and then run as quick as he can, because that 88-48 is going to be coming quick.
Top 2 stay out. So does Ryan Ellis. 2 tires for Landon Castle, who restarts 4th, Jamie.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. Austin Hill decided they were staying out there, and they feel like with this caution, they should be good on fuel. Checked with them, though. They said clean air right now more important than new tires.
And you know what? You win a race, you can roll the dice. Austin Hill wins at Daytona. Now you can play the game a little bit. Let's get to Justin Allgaier.
For the record, I'd prefer not to ever do that again. That was sketchy.
Yeah, there's a hole in it that we ran over something right there, for sure.
10-4.
Allgaier does stay on the lead lap, restarts 31st.
He should be praising that inner liner that he had in the tire.
Absolutely.
Blowing that left rear in the middle of the straightaway.
45 to go at Texas. Outside lane for Austin Hill. Boy, that 19 is really beat up. Just noticing how bad that damage is on the restart, but hanging in there. William Byron making a move. He's the best of the bunch that came down and got those 4 tires, and here's a crash.
Hard behind us at 3.
David Starr, Ryan Sieg. You look at Ryan Sieg, he's finished outside the top 11 one time this year. It was another 1.5 miles Las Vegas when he had that run in with Ty Gibbs. And I would say this will hurt that streak. 9th caution of the day.
So we can see what happened here. You see it's on the top side going into turn 3. It looks like they're 3 wide. The 07 gets into the 08 a little bit, which sends the 08 into the 39 of Ryan Sieg.
I feel like Ty Gibbs has been in the middle of everything today, so it's appropriate he'd had a front row seat for this one, huh?
Down, inside 7, get down.
At least no one ran in the back of him after the caution came out this time. You notice he's back in the gas after he left the scene of the crime there. I gotta go. I want no one to run in the back of me anymore.
I'm not sure what answers you have in this situation.
I don't know.
This team's done a great job, though, and you know they brought Jeff Green over to work on that 39, kind of a car chief role. Won the championship here in the Xfinity Series in 2000. He still lives in Owensboro, Kentucky, but travels to the racetrack every week working with RSS Racing. He's been a tremendous asset, and I talked about their numbers well above the cut line, in position to make the playoffs, and unfortunately some disappointment here today.
Yeah, and I think when you talk about bringing a guy like Jeff Green over to your team, so many times in our sport in today's world, you get so caught up in the engineering, the science, and everything that goes into all this that you almost forget about the basics. That's the thing I tell a lot of our young guys. Don't forget about the basics. Make sure you remind your team of the basics. You have to get down pit road. You have to make sure that it's drivable. You have to do the little things right. And sometimes you can just get caught up in all the engineering.
It's still racing,
it's
right?
Still racing.
You got to keep the racing side balanced with the engineering.
In sports, fundamentals, they're undefeated, right?
That's right.
It's true in NASCAR as well. cloudy morning. Sun is out. 40 laps to go for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Texas Motor Speedway. And it's been an interesting day, or interesting weekend, really, for colleague racing. Among their drivers, defending champion Daniel Hemrick, who is 9th here.
Change drive. I'm just convinced. This is ridiculous. I would have to agree with you on that one. You guys be careful. 11 car has hit the wall quite a few times. Careful. Some of these guys have hit it more than once today. The race ain't over. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We're not done yet. I mean we got 40 laps left.
A lot of carnage today. You know what I mean? You look at car at like the 11 right now of Hemrick running 9th with that much damage on it. That goes to show how many cars have got some tore up stuff in this race.
Let's talk about the team car. Landon Castle, Jamie.
What a weekend it's been for Landon. In the first opening minutes yesterday of practice, he put it in the wall. He took full blame. Team had to bring out the backup car, worked till 8 o'clock last night, came in at 8:30 this morning, and today in the race, the goal was just to finish. Well, he's had not one, but 2 penalties. They have not given up, running 4th right now with a shot at winning in the Xfinity Series for the first time.
And you know, all their drivers were top 10 at Darlington, too, and they kind of had to nickel and dime their way to make that happen.
Oh, that would feel like a huge win, though. After going through something, they get to have to get a backup car out, get it prepared, and go back out there running the top 5. That feels like a win for sure.
Austin Hill going outside lane here, Coleman.
Yeah, outside lane. He has William Byron in behind him. The thing that him and his spotter are going to have to work out, realizing how quick the 88 starts making time in the resin. We've seen the 88. That's how he made his move. He jumped to the resin in 3 and 4, able to get a run down the front stretch and pass Justin Allgaier into 1 on the bottom. So his spotter is going to have to make sure that he recognizes when he's making speed and when he can go up and defend that air.
Yeah, I definitely think the 88 car, probably of the cars that are up front right now, probably the fastest car in the catbird seat right here if he can work through the traffic in 40 laps. You know, you look at the damage on the front of the 19. He's running really, really well for that damage, but it can't be helping him, I wouldn't think. Look at that.
That
oh,
car
my goodness.
is just so beat up. 39 remaining as we go green once again at Texas.
One off 19. Next 2 are single file, still 1.
See the 10 car just brushed the wall there a little bit off of 2.
Reddick up in that second groove. Got Mayer behind him. Josh Berry coming back to the party as 8th. Nice recovery for that race team.
Absolutely. And you saw in the crash that, you know, when he was up front and spun out, he got hit pretty hard in the left rear. It's still running.
Reddick from the high side to the low side, inside of Castle.
Yellow.
Ryan Sieg brings out our 10th yellow of the day. Let's go back to Daniel Hemrick's radio, right? Brett Griffin would analyze this.
What's the old saying?
Just backed in the corner on him. We're about like we were before y'all touched it.
Sometimes you're the bug.
The garage.
Sometimes you're the windshield.
That's right.
We're done.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the old saying is cautions breed cautions, because we've had that today too.
Here's the 10 popping the fence on the exit of 2 on this restart. I mean, it's a pretty good hit, but I think with these bodies, he should be okay.
Yeah, it looks like the side skirt broke off the front there.
That's one of those things, you know, once you get damage on the car once, you're trying to fix it. We saw the same thing happen with the 9 and Noah Gragson, right? Like, they try to fix it, you get a tire cut down, it's not completely fixed, right? Like, they're hustling so much, everyone on pit road, to fix a car to where you don't lose a lap. And then you go back out there and it blows a tire out and you end up not even finishing the race. So it's a hard decision. You don't have much time to think about it or see everything. And unfortunately, instead of finishing maybe 1 lap down, he's going to get a DNF.
Well, let's look back at what has been a wild afternoon at Texas. And it all started. Engine expires for Ryan Vargas in the 6th. That's the 38 of CJ McLaughlin going around.
And you see right here Sheldon Creed getting loose over those bumps. Backing it in, knocking the rear spoiler off. Here's where it gets big. Josh Berry gets loose in front of the whole field, wrecks the 54, the 9. A lot of really good cars get tore up in this crash. And then this is where Noah thought his car was fixed until it wasn't.
Yeah, and you know that second hit was not as friendly as the first hit, but he said he was fine. His car not so much. Justin Allgaier here, running for the lead, up second or third, flat left rear tire. He was thankful for the inner liner down the front straightaway that it wasn't backwards in the wall as well.
Hey, but he stays on the lead lap, as we talked about at the time, and he's 20th. At one point, he was outside the top 30, so they're doing a good job hanging in. 6 lead changes today among 5 different drivers. Austin Hill out front right now. He's the only driver that has paced the field that doesn't receive his paycheck from Junior Motorsports. Their cars have been unbelievable today. Chevys have led all the laps. And 34 cars still on the lead lap. I think we'll make that 33 now. 33 cars on the lead lap, and you know, you talk about a drought that could end. Chevy winning here one time in the last 15 years. You feel like they got a real chance to put that to bed this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. You got Austin Hill sitting there in first. You got William Byron right there in third. Tyler Reddick in fourth, Landon Castle in fifth, Mayer, the list goes on. They're very strong in this series right now. Well represented in it as well. You see how many, that just pure numbers out there, right? It's just a lot of them.
Yeah, you look at Brandon Jones's car, and it looks like it's been in a couple wrecks. It's got some major damage on the front end of his car. So the odds of that car winning, I would tell you, they're slim to none. But he's also running second, so who knows?
And it didn't look that bad. I mean, it looks bad. Don't get me wrong. The car looks horrible, but it's running pretty good.
Yeah, as bad as it looks, it shouldn't run that good.
Right. That one.
Beer and bacon.
How many times are they going to roll that one through tech? I just kidding. I'm just playing. I'd say that's probably going to be my car this week after I said that, huh?
Yeah, you know, I heard those boys talking on the radio about how many cars had wrecked, and who was the first one to hit the wall after the restart? That's him. Sometimes that karma, Logano, karma will get you. Runs all over you.
I know. I've heard you say that to me once
that's
before.
That's a lot of bacon, though.
I like bacon. You like bacon?
I like bacon.
You better like bacon. It's all over your car.
I know.
I like making bacon.
Do you like it extra crispy? How do you like your bacon?
I don't like mine super crispy, but I get outvoted in the house because everybody else likes theirs super crispy. I've lost all control.
You don't run anything in the house anymore. Yeah, I know.
Are you crispy?
I'm the same here. What everyone else wants.
Yeah, you're just happy to eat.
just happy to get breakfast, man.
It's give and take everywhere with you guys, except when it comes to racing, and then it's just take, right?
That's right.
This is the only place I get to run a little bit of something.
Yeah.
It's here at the racetrack.
Austin Hill, no surprise, again, takes that outside lane. Going to have Byron behind him. Here's something interesting with Byron up there. You got Sam Mayer. And we said this, and we've talked about it. Junior Motorsports has won the last 3 races, 3 different drivers. Of course, you had Noah Gragson, Talladega, Barry at Dover, and Darlington a couple of weeks ago goes to Justin Allgaier. They're trying to win 4 straight races with 4 different drivers. That's never happened for a team in the history of the Xfinity Series. They could do it today with either Byron or Mayer, and gosh, if it were Mayer, it'd be his first career win. I mean, that would be so special for both he and the organization.
I mean, that would say so much about the race team saying it's equal, right? So often you see, maybe 1, possibly 2 cars within an organization run competitively enough to win. But very rare do you see 4 or 5 cars all run really, really good. It says a lot about the preparation, how they build the cars consistently, the teamwork of the crew chiefs, the engineers, the guys building the cars, the drivers, everyone working together to do that. Says a lot about what they got going on.
And let's not forget, like early in the year, I thought Sam Mayer, I'm like, oh man, this kid's going to wreck everything in sight. He just progressively has kept the speed and just gets better and better about finishing races. So he's done great.
That's the bacon cooking in there.
That's right. Extra crispy.
33 left at Texas. Brandon Jones hanging in there.
Much better start this time on the bottom.
He's going to get him, too. Look at that, all that damage, flapping in the breeze, out front.
That car is completely beat up, and it could be the first lap led today by a non-Chevy. Unbelievable effort by Brandon Jones.
Good exit there. 32 to go here. 3-2.
Yeah, I look at the front of his car and I think to myself, I'm like, you know, really that just tells the story of the whole day. And that's why I was reluctant to say anything about his car being torn up and not having a chance to win. But I was like, I can't do that. Because the way that this day has gone, there is really no telling what is going to happen.
Here's what's funny about this. Brandon Jones wins at Martinsville, and his car's fairly clean. He's leading at Texas, and his car looks like he's raced at Martinsville.
Yeah, but don't look too far back right there. Tyler Reddick in that green and white car pushing both of these guys. Very, very fast. That car's fired off really fast. Look at him go to the bottom here. He might get a twofer here.
I think you're right. He picks off Austin Hill, and now around Brandon Jones. Chevy back in charge.
All clear, clear up on exit.
And this time the man out front, Tyler Reddick.
That thing took off really, really fast, that restart, right? You look at the first 3-4 laps of a car firing off. That means so much. Here they are wrecking on the front straightaway.
11th caution, Alex LeBay spinning in the 36. Heavy damage for he and others.
Wasn't your fault. That dude wiped you out. You're on the bottom. Looked like he came up.
There's the Yaley car. Saw Patrick Emmerling there. Jesse Awuji. Our longest green flag stretch today, 22 laps. That was the start of the race.
And it's been a wreck fest ever since. For sure. Let's see what happened here. Oh, you see the 36 get loose. Alex LeBay.
Yeah, and he just, in that same spot that we've seen a couple times today, in that second groove, kind of in a pack, and just loses the car. Just gets light on the air on the car right there, and he just, if you're right on the edge, it just pushes it over. That's a huge hit.
Oh.
Yeah, J.J. Yaley, who did such a great job yesterday in practice and qualifying. Also watched the 23 of Anthony Alfredo gets a piece of the action. He came in only 22 points below the cut line and in need of a good run today, and had managed their day pretty nicely from the back of the field.
That hit J.J. Yaley took was massive.
Ryan Ellis tiptoeing through on the outside in the 44. Same for Myatt Snyder in that 31, it looked like. And look at the parts and pieces just ripping off these cars.
Yeah, and I think it's just, this is just one of those, after seeing that 66 car of J.J. Yaley hit the wall like that, this is just one of those moments where you just have to step back and, really focus on what NASCAR has done. Look at this hit. You can see the wall give. And you look at the safer barriers.
Tires, yeah.
Those safer barriers, as a guy who's been here long enough to hit concrete walls, it's just we're really lucky to have an organization that has pushed the safety like they have in order to put those soft walls all the way around these racetracks. Not only NASCAR, but the racetracks to put the investment in, because you just never know. You're preparing for that moment right there when you get hooked in the right rear, head on into the fence, and you're able to walk to the ambulance.
We've seen some wrecks like that before a long time ago.
Yeah.
With different cars, no wall.
Here.
And then you see J.J. Yaley taking a similar hit that you've seen 20-something years ago, walking away and look to be okay.
And a good job, as always, by the AMR safety team who comes over to assist the drivers, and they'll be a big part of the cleanup here. By the way, 11 cautions, second most at Texas in an Xfinity race. 13 is the record. This is the fourth consecutive race with 10 or more here. And what's amazing about that is this is a 250-mile race. Most times we come here, it's 300 miles.
That's what I was saying. We really tore him up. I said, how is this not a record? I'm thinking in my mind, it's not even a full race compared to what it used to be.
So Tyler Reddick leading as we're under caution once again. It's been a theme here at Texas. Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway, live on FS1 with Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick. I'm Adam Alexander. Today, it's the SRS Distribution 250 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Working our 11th caution of the day, and now doing some work to the track there and the safer barrier. Let's listen in on 48 radio here. Tyler Reddick leading this thing.
Find anything on what, buddy? The wheels? Yeah, they have cameras and they've said they're good. All right. Hopefully it's just not what I think it is. We'll ride it out. It's not a very bad vibration at all.
Yeah, he's thinking he's got a possible loose wheel there, and what these teams do to try to add to seeing if the wheel's loose or not. They got cameras on their helmet. The changers have cameras on their helmet, and they can slow it down enough to where you can see the socket stop. And if the socket stops on the nut, you know that lug nut is tight. And the pattern that those wheels or lug nuts could possibly be loose is how the crew chief kind of makes a judge on if that thing's loose or not. They're 19 on pit road.
Been talking about what a great job they've done despite all the damage, but giving up some big-time track position to come down here and get tires. Last time they had pitted was lap 100, so they were one of those teams that had really played the strategy game.
Yeah, that camera.
I wonder how long we could have stayed there without him knowing it.
His eyes in the sky right there.
There's Steve hanging with him. I think that was Logano's idea, Coleman.
Yeah, the modeling agencies are calling me after that profile pic.
He'll be on the cover of magazines middle of next week. Hey, I do have to say, it's hot here in Texas this weekend, and the days are long with all three series here. Camping World Truck Series last night, the Xfinity cars today with All-Star practice qualifying tonight, obviously the All-Star race tomorrow evening on FS1. Huge salute to all those folks that help bring NASCAR on Fox into your living room. I mean, we see all the camera folks that work so hard, but we've got so many that do an unbelievable job behind the scenes, and we thank everybody, including you, Buffy. Way to go.
It is definitely a long day up there, bringing some amazing footage. And also on top of that, the NASCAR officials, a lot of the officials do the Xfinity race and do a lot of the Cup work too. They have long days as well. So the support group that goes to a NASCAR race is one heck of a group of people, right? That just are willing to work and get it done and put on a good show for all the fans to watch, right? A good race. Look at everybody.
And you know what? You'll probably tonight you go back to the hotel, you'll see Goat on the treadmill. You know what I mean? Like he does it here and there.
You got to be in shape to do that all day.
Stolen. He is not going to be on the treadmill. Everybody, unbelievable job. We really appreciate the effort. And by the way, all this while Artie Kipner sits in the air conditioning in the production truck.
I know. Good for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, he has a great air conditioning system. We have a box fan. So, you know, it's just kind of that level of.
I feel like the pit reporters do not feel bad for us up here right now.
No.
Yeah. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
I think Jamie Little's doing every show this weekend, maybe. I mean, she's on pit road for all 3 series. And anyway, appreciate.
Yes, Adam. I love hearing that you guys are too cold up there and you have too many snacks. Hi.
Do you have a jacket?
You guys are sounding good.
You have a jacket for us?
Yes, I do. I'll send them all your way.
All right, it's 3 o'clock here in Texas, 4 o'clock on the East Coast. So we remind everyone, if you tuned in for baseball, go to FS2, Padres and Giants, and we'll get you to San Francisco as soon as we wrap things up here for the NASCAR Xfinity Series in Texas. 23 to go. Let's get a report from Pit Road and Josh Sims.
Yeah, we know Tyler Reddick was having that issue with the vibration, trying to figure out what it was. Well, they told him over the radio, even though you're having that, you just ran your fastest time. Tyler said, maybe that's what it is. I'm going so fast, the tires are screaming at me.
Hey, and Patrick Donahue's done a great job with that organization, Big Machine Racing.
Yeah, and you know, I think when you put somebody like Tyler Reddick in there, you're going to get a real test of where your stuff is, and you know, I think today has been a great day for them in being able to start the race with their car not handling very well, and all of a sudden here they are at the end with some good calls and the lead of the race here with you know, coming to 22 laps to go.
Yeah, he tuned it really well. Good execution, good speed, and now he's taking the bottom on this restart. Seems to be 50-50 so far, Kevin.
Yeah, the bottom lane, it just really depends on the launch. If you can get clear, you're in good shape. But if you don't get clear, got to be careful.
As fast as he was a while ago, I'm not sure it matters where he restarts. He was so good late in that run, and here he comes taking the lead from the inside lane and maybe bringing William Byron with him in the 88.
Yeah, and he wasn't going to be clear, but William Byron pushed him. As we heard Coleman talk earlier, he got a great push down into turn 1, and that's really what cleared the 21.
Allmendinger top 5. Josh Berry is there. Byron is through the second, driving around Austin Hill.
AJ Allmendinger back up to 4th place. Just doing his thing, doing AJ things. Just getting at everything he can get out of it. Passing for 3rd here at Austin Hill.
He just finds a way. I mean, it's remarkable. Jamie's told the stories. We've talked about it. No practice yesterday. And here he is.
Shoot, he's in position to win, possibly. You know, who knows, another caution. Things may happen. You know, you see Tyler Reddick is checking out such a fast car. He's able to put some definitely a pretty big gap on William Byron back there.
Allmendinger 1-0 in Texas this year in the Xfinity Series. His lone victory in Austin on the road course, Circuit of the Americas.
Josh Berry with a really good recovery.
Justin Allgaier was 31st after the tire issue in the pit stop, and he's racing for 8th with Riley Herbst.
He's not done yet. He might get that thing into the top 5. He's one of the few cars that doesn't have a lot of damage out there.
Yeah, you see the back of Josh Berry's car. It's got the back bumper tore up, the left side all caved in.
I wonder what happened here. It looks like Austin Hill getting back by A.J. Allmendinger. Sam Mayer taking advantage of the dirty air that he got into. Turn underneath him. Nice pass.
I was thinking maybe 2 for 1 for Sam Mayer.
Yeah, it looks like the 16's really, really loose. You see him wiggling through 1 and 2, losing a lot of track position right now.
Here, guys, be ready.
Might have something wrong.
Yeah, that be ready on the radio. Typically a heads up for those guys on the pit lane, right?
Which is very, oh no!
And there's contact. Allgaier and Allmendinger.
Cut tire, incoming tire.
That's AJ. Watch that left rear.
Yeah, I'm not sure AJ knew he was there as much as he came down through the tri-oval there.
Yeah, that was heavy contact. Like he definitely turned like there was nobody there.
I was surprised they didn't wreck right there.
Yeah.
17 to go, and he's trying to stay in the top 10. He's done it every race this year. Let's watch what happens.
You see the 7 definitely there. You know, 7 can't go any lower. His left side's in the dirt. Wow. That could have been way worse. A 3 wide right there.
Oh, he was under the 8.
And maybe he just didn't see it.
Prior to that, Josh Berry into the wall, coming back toward the start-finish line.
Turn 4 again. Turn 4 is tricky.
Jeb Burton, Ty Gibbs. Not the first time we've seen them connected today. How about that 16 of Allmendinger, Jamie?
Well, you can imagine he's really frustrated in the 16 right now. He said it's really tough driving defensively all the time. He said, I have nothing to lean on with this race car right now. His pit crew is on the wall. He just said, I feel like the tire is going down. They're telling him, as of now, it looks okay.
Yeah, that's just one of those scenarios where you just start behind, right? You don't get to practice, you don't get to analyze your car to say it's super loose, and then you get in a race and you can't make enough adjustments to get the back of the car in a racetrack like AJ would probably like.
We see that every week with the College car, especially the 16 right now. Is that he's loose every week. Everywhere you go, you put your camera on the 16 car, it's sideways all the time.
We mentioned all those top 10s for A.J. Allmendinger. I mean, he leads the overall point standings coming in here, trying to win the regular season championship for a second consecutive season. So you hope from that standpoint everything stays together with that tire as we go to 13 to go. And here are his teammates, 10th and 11th, Castle and Hemrick. And I know, and we've talked about it, I mean, Castle's going to take that given their situation this weekend.
Well, and that's when sometimes you have a little bit of a common problem, right? When your cars all kind of migrate to the same spot of running order on the racetrack.
That's true. You assume that they have similar body builds, possibly similar setups. The engines are probably pretty much the same. So then you can kind of pinpoint maybe what it might be.
Battle for third heating up, but it's like Mayer gets to Hill and then has a hard time getting around him. Maybe this is the run as he peeks to the inside.
Yeah, Sam Mayer looks really strong there. To be able to just do that little turn down there, that's pretty big. It shows that you have a pretty solid car. But here comes Justin Allgaier behind him. He's not done yet. Into the top 5.
Now
driving all the way through after that flat left rear tire.
I want to give some credit too to Andrew Overstreet, who's calling the shots for Sam Mayer. Taylor Moyer, the crew chief, suspended 4 races when that tire got away a few weeks ago at Dover. And despite that, top 5, great comeback at Darlington. There's Andrew, and in position for another top 5 here today. They've got depth. I mean, they're just doing it at all levels right now at JRM.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things to navigate at the racetrack. But I think we all know that most of the work is done at the shop, and when you get in those situations, you have a plan when you get to the racetrack as to who's going to do what, and as good as JRM does, they obviously have had a great plan, and man, they have brought really fast race cars to the racetrack all year.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at Justin Allgaier getting a little debris just right there on the grill.
This comeback for Allgaier has been incredible. I mean, just such an outstanding effort by he and his team. He's passed a lot of cars in the last week.
It gets harder as you get closer to the front here too.
But when he won at Darlington, remember, from the back after they had to change that battery right before we started the race. So this team has really persevered through some hard times in recent races.
Absolutely. He's probably hoping he can get by these two cars and get one more caution. He might have a shot at winning it. You see him just, you know, he was able to run up on those two cars as they were racing each other pretty hard, and he's kind of getting stuck in that dirty air. That's kind of what it is, right? You have a car that can drive through a lot, but eventually, you know, you get up to the cars in front of you and you get a little bit stuck, and you got to start moving around. You see him pull down to the bottom, trying to get air on the nose to help finish that turn, and then wait for the opportunity to pounce.
7 to go. Tyler Reddick, advantage over second place William Byron. 1.4, 1.5 seconds. I mean, how much you pace it here, because you got to believe, right? I mean, in his mind, he's got to say there's going to be another caution, right?
Yeah, there's no sense of taking any more than you have to. He's got a good enough cushion that where if he catches a lap car in the wrong way, he probably can manage that. And you don't want to bring your tires up because you're probably not going to pit at this point if the caution comes out.
Yeah, you see Sam Mayer pull it back down the hill right there and get a good run into 1 and 2.
And Justin's going to
take the line
here. Yeah, he took it.
Mayer.
4/4, good, come on up.
Mayer to third. Allgaier comes by for fourth. 3 JRM cars in the top 5, 4 of them in the top 7 when you look back there at Josh Berry in the 8 car. 5 laps to go for Tyler Reddick. And a reminder, if you tuned in for baseball, head over to FS2 for Padres and Giants. We'll get you there as soon as we're done with NASCAR in Texas.
To Tyler, we talked about it earlier, how good this team's doing. Big machine, you know, coming into the sport not too long ago, going through a couple different drivers, putting Tyler in it, putting his talent, his expertise, showing the speed that he has, but also showing the execution and the leadership that he was able to bring today in that car, right? They had some adversity. They had some issues. They flipped the stage. You know, they had some issues on pit road, and they were able to just recover and just show the raw speed in that bad boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing story. Scott Borchetta, in a music business, but loves to race, meets Jade Buford. A couple of years ago, they decide to get together and start racing in the Xfinity Series. Scott really wanted to grow this thing. Results weren't where he wanted them to be, so we need to make some changes. Get some Cup guys, put them in these cars, and figure out where we are. They've got the alliance with Richard Childress Racing. And they bring in a guy like Tyler Reddick. And boy, has he delivered. So good and fast at Darlington, didn't go their way. And here he is at Texas, putting on a show, and 2 laps away from delivering this organization their first ever win, and they haven't even made 50 starts yet in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, and that's quite a feat. You know, I think as you look at that, it's I've been in that position, and it's hard to do when you're competing against these big teams.
1 lap to go. Tyler Reddick leading. It's brought to you by Credit One Bank.
There's nothing like a first win for a race team, right? It means so much. You always remember it. And being so close, like you said, in Darlington, to be able to come back out here and just put on a heck of a show, it's going to feel really nice to see this thing come across the line.
Reddick wins a title for Junior Motorsports, gets one for Richard Childress Racing. Today, he's going to get Big Machine Racing, their first ever victory. Tyler Reddick wins it at Texas.
Hey, great job, man. That's awesome. Congratulations. Good job, everybody. Good job, man. We came in. Man, I'm so proud of everybody. Thank you.
William Byron second. Sam Mayer another top 5. Allgaier comes back to 4th. Great comeback for Josh Berry. A.J. Allmendinger hangs on to 9th. He's 12 for 12. Top 10 in every race this year. How about Tyler Reddick? '45th start for Big Machine Racing, and they get to go to Victory Lane and celebrate at Texas Motor Speedway.
That's a good burnout here. I'm giving him good style points. You know, he did a couple loops down the front stretch, a couple other donuts. I like that. I love a burnout.
Yeah, a great burnout is always fun to see. And the tires didn't blow out.
That means he could have kept going. Why'd he stop?
10th career win for Tyler Reddick. Last 6 races at Texas, 6 different winners. And the Chevrolet drought at TMS is over. Got his first win part-timer at Chip Ganassi Racing. Won a couple of races at Junior Motorsports en route to that championship in 2018. So good in 2019 at RCR when he claimed the title. And now he's won with 4 different teams, Jamie.
And Tyler Reddick, what a story. Flawless execution, great speed. What does it mean to you to be called to evaluate this team and then take them to victory for the first time?
Well, first off, it's just a huge opportunity. Thank you to Big Machine Racing, Scott Borchetta, Jag Metals for coming on for this race. Our Jag Metal Spike Cooler Chevrolet was just so good. But yeah, I mean, nobody at RCR was really happy with where the cars are at, and I wanted to help and try and make these cars get better and try and figure out what we need to do to get back up front. And well, we figured it out pretty quick, I guess. So hats off to everyone at RCR, ECR. ECR power under this hood has always been outstanding. Big power, baby, back in Welcome, North Carolina. So great day. Really happy to get this team their first win. That was, what a day.
Tyler Reddick wins at Texas.
Awesome day.
And Sam Mayer comes home third. You've now finished top 5 in 6 of the last 7 races. Can you describe your day?
Man, that's pretty cool. I mean, that consistency that we found and this team working really hard together, even though we don't have Taylor on the box. Still working really hard at the shop and here at the racetrack getting everyone else ready. This one team is really good. This accelerated Chevy Camaro was really, really fast today. We were a little bit short. I was really thirsty for it. I was searching around all day for it, and we were really fast. I held off the 7, which is, I think that's a first for me, so baby steps, I guess.
Baby steps, but coming home third place. Guys?
Well, he's a teenager, but he doesn't look like it. Sam Mayer, man, he's doing so many positive things. Congratulations to him on another top 5. That first win is coming, and you think about what we've had this year. 2 teams have got their first ever win. SS Greenlight Racing with Cole Custer at California, and now Big Machine Racing here at Texas with Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, you know, I think that says a lot about the series when you see these Cup guys go to these teams and be able to help them. You know, I know having Tyler's feedback this weekend, obviously, and putting the car into victory lane is going to do nothing but help RCR and Big Machine as they go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's listen, the Cup guys are Cup guys for a reason, right? They're really, really, really good. That's why they move up. That's why they're racing on Sunday. But it's also really good for the Cup guys to come back and race in Xfinity every now and again, I believe, because I think it makes all the other drivers here even better, and it helps teams progress a little bit, right? If you have a rookie driver in your car, it's really hard to decipher if it's the car or the driver. But if you put someone in there that you know is good and it still doesn't run good, you know, right? At that point, you say, hey, we got a lot of work to do. But I think in this case, Tyler Reddick really showed up today and showed where things are and probably can make the cars even better than what they are.
How about A.J. Allmendinger? Another top 10 finish.
I mean, does that surprise you?
Unbelievable,
No, I mean,
isn't
those
it?
guys just grind it out, and I know AJ wasn't happy with his car, but, you know, I know 2 cars back was Daniel Hemrick. I mean, they had a massive crash, not massive, but they had a pretty big impact with the wall at the beginning of the race that knocked the deck lid loose, and to fix that car and come home 11th. And sometimes you just have to be in position to take advantage of a day when you've had some bad luck at the beginning, and there's carnage, and you have to be able to put yourself in a position to finish those races and get some points.
Every day's not good, right?
Nope.
I mean, it's just you got to be able to maximize what you got. I remember when I first started racing, I saw Jimmy Johnson do that all the time. Like, how the heck did he finish top 10 after the day? And then he eventually just figure out how to do it. They did that today, right? Daniel Hemrick was able to take the most out of what was given to him.
Time for you guys to handle your day job, practice and qualifying for the All-Star race. Your thoughts on trying to win $1 million tomorrow night?
Well, anytime you can win $1 million, that's fun, or at least have a chance at it. So, you know, I think for us, we just got to get our car driving good and understand what we have in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I'm excited to get out there and practice. And qualifying is that I really want to make sure we're in the top 8, because that looks like so much fun later today. Adding the pit crew into the qualifying, that's going to be a blast. And hopefully,
you just want to be a drag racer.
Row. Yeah, I want to do
practice your drag race.
Drag race you off corner. That'd be awesome.
It would be
Bank
fun.
doors across the line.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's do it.
Good luck to both of you in qualifying later today, and good luck in the All-Star race tomorrow night. As you saw, coverage begins 5 o'clock Eastern time with race day right here on FS1. Tyler Reddick able to get it done today at Texas Motor Speedway. We offer our congratulations to him. Thanks to our entire Fox crew, Josh Sims, Jamie Little on pit road, Coleman Presley on the spotter stand with Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick. I'm Adam Alexander. We'll see you guys back here at Texas for practice and qualifying in the Cup cars later. Right now, it's baseball on FS1. The Giants and the Padres enjoy.
The ones at the top of the mountain, climb tighten the buckle. One with the right crowd that likes to rumble. Hold a nice crown, it's hard to be humble. We welcome you now to our arena. If you don't know by now, it's hard to beat us. You can tell by our demeanor how hard we leaning. Leave a lasting impression on who is the best, and there won't be a question. You will remember our name when you see it in lights. We are the champions. We are the champions. We will fight through the pain. We'll be legends tonight. We are the champions. We are the champions.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your